Adam, if industrial design was a new smartphone app, you would be the combination task management, flatulent sound generator.
Well, I don't know how that's any different from reality. Welcome to Engineer vs. Designer.
The podcast
For designers,
engineers,
makers, bakers, and young entrepreneurs who are changing the world one ergonomic shovel at a time. I am Adam.
Doing the thing. I am Josh. This week we're speaking with the fine young, did we say he was young? Entrepreneur behind the new ergonomic shovel design currently on Kickstarter. It's called the Bosse Tool, Mr. Stephen Walden.
Speaking of tools used for excavation, Josh, please dig our squeaky clean intelligence out from the muddy black hole of ignorance. What have you got for us this week?
I shall do just that. This episode of Engineer vs. Designer is brought to you by Autodesk Fusion 360. CAD in the cloud is real and it's here. Get a free 90-day trial today at fusion360.autodesk.com.
Do that. Fusion360.autodesk.com.
Now, we've done it before. We're doing it again. A tweet for this episode is going out. Anyone who retweets that message will be entered into a drawing for a coveted Engineer vs. Designer t-shirt.
I don't know, Josh. Do we need to up the ante this week? Because I feel like people have been really slacking up on this. No, one shirt, and we're going to give you a shout out on the next episode. How about that?
Yes, we will.
Yeah,
we will say your name.
Definitely. So retweet that message if you would, please.
Do it.
So, Josh, look at this shovel if you would, please. Look, do you see it?
I sees it.
Yes, it's a little bit weird looking. Now, how's it feel in your face?
It feels very solid, metal-like. I think this is a good shovel.
All right.
Dizzy here.
Well, Stephen might have something to say about that. Let's talk to him.
Let's.
All right, Stephen Walden, before we go any further, let's get that plug in right off the top here. You are the founder of Bosse Tools. I believe that's how you pronounce it. 24 years old. What is Bosse Tools? And B, how did this come about? What happened?
Bosse Tools is it's an ergonomic tool company. It's revolutionizing the way we look at manual labor. And we're proud to say Bosse Tools is born and raised in the United States and does all its manufacturing in the United States as well. So it's a company that's proud to be American. I came up with this company idea. The idea sparked 2 years ago. I was doing some yard work with my parents. My dad works on houses in Phoenix. My mom actually, with her friends, started a community garden. So shovels are involved in both of those tasks. And over the summer, working for my folks, I day in and day out, you're so tired of using a shovel. It's supposed to be that way, though, so I really thought nothing of it, and then I sort of selfishly thought, there's got to be a better way to do this. There's got to be something easier out there, so put pen to paper and came up with a few designs and realized that, hey, there's a better way to do this. And
now, not just every guy digging holes in the back lot knows how to design a product. Do you have some kind of background in engineering or design?
Not in engineering or design at all. Definitely a background in wielding shovels, though, whether it's working for my folks. When I was younger, I did a lot of service work in Central and South America, laying foundations for home sites. And I was always the guy who got stuck on the shovel mixing concrete. No matter where we were working, I ended up the guy with the shovel. So whether it's for philanthropy or working for my parents, wielding a shovel was something I was all too familiar with. But in terms of design, I think stick figure sketches were about as intense as I've ever been. So my design skills are minimal, but my practical application is definitely tried and true.
Well, you're already really far along with this, but first of all, this is not just any ordinary shovel. It's a newfangled ergonomic shovel.
It's got some kind of twisty handle thingy.
You're going after funding on Kickstarter. Tell us a little bit more about the ergonomics of it. What's different about the shovel?
Well, the basics behind it is these handles that are perpendicular to the shaft of the tool. And while it sounds potentially counterintuitive or confusing or a combination of both, what it's really doing, in short, is returning the body to a more natural position when you're digging. The premise behind ergonomics is taking a workplace item. The example we know all too well is an ergonomic keyboard, and redesigning it so it takes less motion and less time to accomplish the same task. So by putting these handles on the shovel, it's going to allow us to correct our posture while we're digging. It won't leave our shoulders off-centered. Your wrists are removed from this traditionally pronated position, which is what was leaving them susceptible to injury. The basics of that is put your body in a position where it's most able to work efficiently and effectively, and it's gonna last longer. You're not gonna be as sore and tired. You will be less prone to being injured on the work site. And then you bring up that rotating handle, and the cool thing about that is these products have always been stationary for forever and ever. And by putting this rotating handle, you can customize your hand position so as to pitch snow out of your driveway, for example. All of a sudden, you can pitch and toss snow in one single motion, where it traditionally was a dig, a pivot, and a toss. All of a sudden, those 3 steps are reduced to 1, and that's where you can really see the ergonomic efficiencies at play, is when you can decrease the number of tasks and jobs it takes to do the same operation.
Now, I'm looking at the website right now, and I'm seeing some very nice-looking CAD renderings of this product. Do you have physical prototypes at this point? Do you have the real thing made? What state is this thing in at the moment?
We have all stages of prototypes. We have everything from the PVC model I made when I was 22, working in my own house. We welded up some prototypes that are stationary, and then we've had some classic models created through SLS processes, and then we have a functional prototype as well. So we have really run the whole gamut of prototype models. We don't have necessarily the full production piece that we can go make 10,000 of,
right?
But we have rotational models that we are able to stick in the dirt and dig with and prove our concept.
Now, and I'm also noticing that this thing is broken into several pieces, including the tool head on the end. Is that interchangeable, or are we just focusing on the shovel at the moment?
At this point, they're not interchangeable, just for strength issues. So we have a tool that's strong enough to be big enough, whatever you need to. But it's definitely a design we're pursuing, is an interchangeable head, where the spade shovel is not the perfect example because it does take more force than any other tool, but combining other products that you might find around the house in the interchangeable heads is definitely an option that we're pursuing.
You've taken one of the oldest tools known to man, some would say revolutionized it. Honestly, I would say you've made a weapon that looks like it takes a lot of experience to use. It's just dang impressive looking. But it also looks kind of expensive, I gotta admit. How much is one of these going to set me back compared to like a traditional just wooden handle shovel?
Stick with a metal flat piece on the end of it.
That's going to break my back, but maybe I don't care because it's,
That's a great question. We put them up on Kickstarter for $65 and hoping that the product will retail in that range. And at first we say, it's $65. That's a nice steak dinner with your wife. But at the same time, it's a product out there that has not just a shovel. You look at the traditional tool on the market, and you can get your $8 to $12 wooden shaft, a thin wood shaft with a piece tempered in China that might last you half of the fall season. You can boost it up to these fiberglass tools, which are still durable but not great. They're $25 to $30, and then you can get into these specialty unbreakable products that are anywhere from $45 to $105. So we really see ourselves being this higher end product that it has these durable capabilities, has these added benefits. So.
Now, like so many people, you had an idea. You're not an engineer or a designer, and these days a lot of folks have ideas and they want to develop those into marketable products. And clearly you've gone a long way toward that. You not only created prototypes on your own, you've got on your website, you've got a CAD model that really clearly illustrates what you're trying to do here. I'm guessing that you didn't go off and learn all of the skills necessary to work this out. Who did you hire to do this, or how did you go about making this happen?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I did not know how to use CAD, computer animated design, whatever the SolidWorks, whatever it is. I've been working with an industrial design firm I did previously, and I'm going to be consulting with another one. And it's people need to take their ideas and make the minimum viable product. So what I did was weld up some prototypes, because I can't do CAD models and SLS and all of that, but I can use a welder and cut some pipes and make a prototype, and that's what you prove your concept with. And then you go and you outsource things like computer animated design or rapid prototyping.
Absolutely.
Minimal viable product. I love that. Now, did you, which part did you enjoy more? The prototyping process? You got to be really involved in the business side of things too, getting this all going. What's the best parts for you there?
There's obviously best parts of each, but I definitely like when you get your new product from a prototyper or a designer. It's like opening a present when you open that file.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Final design looks like. So I love that aspect of it, but it's also been the most expensive aspect of it. So I definitely enjoyed the organic marketing efforts as well, and the social outreach and other things of where you really promote yourself, and that doesn't cost $10,000 or $20,000. It's a matter of people believing in you and your idea, and that aspect from the business end has been really fun to me.
And what would you say has been the biggest challenge so far in this process for you?
Biggest challenge is definitely getting people to buy in without seeing the product itself. It's something that you can describe and explain and break down, and then people say, all right, it sounds cool, I don't get it. And then I say, of course, because we've never seen one before, I completely understand. But then that challenge is combated by a prototype. I put it in someone's hand, and they're like, oh, this makes perfect sense. This is genius. So it is really challenging to explain the product perfectly. I always try to give someone an example, like, go explain riding a bike to someone. It's a lot harder than it sounds like. And rather like, oh, well, I know what it's like, 'cause I've done it, but I've never actually had to explain it to someone before, and that's been challenging.
We got to hit on Kickstarter. Everyone is trying to crack that nut. It looks like you're a little over the third of the way towards your 60K goal. That's pretty high, and that's up there. There's manufacturing, fulfillment to consider, all those risks and challenges that you got to think of. How are the funds going to be used for this?
Funds will be used. It's very expensive. The most expensive part is making the molds, obviously, because we're not manufacturing an entire shovel. The shovel head is something you can purchase. The shafts are something you can purchase. But what we're making is this
the middle piece,
center handle and the top handle, and that. Making something from scratch like that is what's expensive. And I'm going to meet with a manufacturer on Wednesday just to get more of our specifics hammered out on how we're going to do that. But that $60,000 will be going towards making those molds so that we can make those first couple hundred models and then have our basis for making the next big run.
Do you have any advice for somebody who is interested in doing something really similar to what you're doing? If somebody has an idea, they want to make it, what have you learned that you think they should know before they get started?
Before you get started is definitely plan everything out, but don't plan things that I'd like to say are your chickens before they hatched, as the cliche goes. You can make a strategy, a financial plan, and manufacturing marketing strategy that's perfect, but it's better to develop that as needs arise. Better to
That's right.
dig holes and then get out of them rather than preventing yourself from ever getting in those holes.
Nice.
Very apropos analogy here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. For with no pun intended, it's create fires and then put them out rather than avoiding them in the first place. That's my biggest advice: is go jump off a cliff you don't know what's at the bottom of it. Take a risk with your product, because if it's viable, someone will catch you and help you.
And if not, you fall to your death, and it's not a big deal. So
yeah, then no big deal. Exactly.
I love that advice. I love it. Stephen, it's so good talking with you. Having you on the show today, sir, has been even more fun than that time Adam was actually being chased by a rabid dog, tripped on a shovel, and knocked the dog out as he went flying to the ground. Thank you for joining us today. That happened.
True stories. True stories.
Well, I hope no injuries were barred today, and
no dogs were injured during the making of this interview. Thanks so much, Stephen. It's great to talk to you.
guys, appreciate it.
Josh, this interview that we just did makes me want to go on Kickstarter, buy one of those shovels, and dig out that backyard pool that I've been thinking about doing, the mud bottom pool that I invented last year.
The mud one. Yeah. Just remember to make room for the quadruple spiral water slide, or else you can just count me out, man. Count me out.
Okay. You got nothing to worry about, my friend. Stock up on your hot dog because it's gonna be a barbecue.
If you'd like to send plans for digging a pool or incorporating one of those crazy water slides in your backyard, or some extra hot dogs, just address those to Adam at EVD so I can start making plans for next summer.
And if you'd like to loan us your local lifeguard, please make sure they are mud swimming certified. Please address those as well to EVD Media so we can spend less time rescuing Josh and more time swimming. Let us know what you think, who you want to see on the show, and what your favorite kind of water slide is at EngineerVsDesigner.com or on the EVD YouTube and or Vimeo channel.
And if you'd like to see us dig in large holes aimlessly, be sure to like us, +1 us, tweet us, or whatever else us, as social media has been correlated with digging yourself inside a large hole you can't get out of.
And since Adam is starting to feel like this ending part of the show is a lot like the agreement that you have to read when you upgrade your iPhone, and that nobody is actually listening to it, if you are listening to this right now, please be sure to let us know, because that's just kind of funny. This show was edited by the masterful Simon Martin. If you love our taste in music and need some more to help propel you through the work week, be sure to check out a new playlist on SolidSmack Radio every Tuesday at SolidSmack.com.
Yep, we'll see you next week. And remember, without engineers, designers would have nothing to Google at all.
And without designers, engineers would get tired of building things out of rocks and clay.
Hey, a little too close to home there, buddy. Watch it.
Sorry, I forgot about that above-ground rock and clay pool you built in your backyard.
About it. Done.
Yeah. Not as good as the mud hole, though.
A production of EVD Media.